This is a picture of or 5 pictures of my daughter, Zeba Arcadia Green. From 3 months, no, I want you to see it. I want you to look at that. Okay, it's etched in my brain, that's fine. Okay, it's from 3 months old all the way to 5 years old. And I want to talk about my experience watching her grow and learn. It's been really amazing watching her learn the power of words, for example. Poop is one that she's really captivated by. And for the last year, daily, she's been calling me poopy face. And when she sees my displeasure, it makes her just do it more, which is a feedback loop in action. But she learns from examples. When I dropped her off at daycare, I'd wave, and she'd wave back. And at some point, she started doing this. I was like, what is that? And I realized that she's following the example that I set when I leave, which is to go, and she's blowing me a kiss. She's learning from examples. At the time that she was born, my team at Google started our first project to build artificial intelligence. Our goal with this technology was to meet the scale and complexity of the online hate and harassment challenge. We wanted to build AI models that could spot hateful comments, and the way that we were going to do it was to show these AI models lots of examples of hateful comments. And I thought, yeah, we're teaching Zeba with examples, we're teaching AI with examples. And I remember saying to our head of engineering, wow, John, I realize Zeba learns in a way that's really similar to our AI. And he said, that's because she's the I. She's the intelligence that artificial intelligence is built to emulate. Computer scientists have built the AI learning systems to emulate the brain of a child. This is Zeba at the zoo. Her favorite animal is a sea lion. And the first time we saw a sea lion, it sneezed. It's really dramatic. And she was so concerned. She was 2, she said, Mommy, sea lion has a cold. And sea lions, in perfect health, sneeze routinely to clear their lungs and their noses of liquid. So sea lion didn't have a cold or corona or any virus. Sea lion was perfectly healthy. She made the mistake because every example that she'd seen until that moment of a runny nose sneezing was someone who had a cold. So the examples she'd seen were biased towards humans. She wasn't able to understand this situation with the sea lion. Or said another way, the data that Zeba had been trained on was biased. And algorithms, just like kids, when they're trained on biased data, they make mistakes. And I learned this when we had our AI project. So this was the most inspiring and also humbling of projects I've been involved in 14 years at Google. The models, even the earliest models, were really powerful. They could spot some of the most egregious hate and insults and threats. But we also had a really serious issue with bias. These are 2 sentences that we found in comments. Put your hand up if you think either or both of these are hateful. Okay, yes, are hateful. No, good, you're right. No, neither of them are hateful. So why is it that our original AI model thought that the second one was hateful? Well, because we trained it on 1 million examples of comments, and the vast majority of comments that contain the word gay were hateful. 80% of short comments that contain the word gay were toxic, so the model mistakenly learnt to associate something negative with the term gay. And that bias repeated for every identity group that's frequently attacked online. So put your hand up now if you identify as a woman, someone who's LGBTQ+, a person of color, or part of a religious group. Okay, everyone here, you know that prejudice exists. You know that it exists online, and so you should be really worried if this is being hard-coded into our AI. The way that we addressed this was we took snippets from newspaper articles that featured these identity terms like Muslim, gay, woman, feminist, and that were positive or neutral, and we trained the AI models again with this improved data set. And that went a long way towards addressing the bias. It's still not perfect. But the takeaway is, models are trained on data. Data comes from humans, and humans are biased. So another example. anyone here ever looked for a job opportunity online? This will, yes. This will resonate with you. Okay, so some researchers in 2015 from Carnegie Mellon wanted to understand the impact of algorithms on the experience of men and women who are job hunting. So they created fake profiles, half men, half women, and then they just browsed online job sites. They found a difference in the experience of the men and the women, even though they were fake profiles. The men were 5 times as likely to see ads for high-paying senior jobs than the women. Okay, so they found gender discrimination. But why was that? Women, what percentage of job requirements do you think women feel they need to fulfill before they apply for a job? Oh, you all know that research. That's amazing. I was like, they're not going to believe me that it's 100%. 100%. We feel like we need to fill 100% of job requirements. For men, that number is 60%. So, at the same skill level, we are clicking on jobs that are less senior and less well paid. But if we click that way, then the internet is going to learn that that's what we want to see. So in this formula of models being trained on data and data being biased and data coming from humans and humans being biased, sometimes the biased humans are us. There is a field that comprises computer scientists and ethicists and other social scientists who really care about this problem. It's called Algorithmic Fairness, and they are championing transparency, clarity around the data sets and the way the technology is developed, and they're advocating for inclusion of underrepresented groups in the development of AI and in the measurement of how it performs. But children are a good analogy for this because they're a blank canvas. You know, they acquire knowledge, but they also learn values. And I've never felt the responsibility to be true to my values as much as since I became a mother. You know, I want my kids, 2 girls now, to be even better than I am. Like, that's the question I ask myself. How can I raise my daughters to make good decisions in life, but to be more compassionate and less prejudiced than the world around them? So the question for us is, are we content with algorithms that reflect back to us the way the world works? Our social justice activism has to extend to algorithms. It's not good enough just to automate human behavior. We need to make sure that what's reflected back to us in algorithms is something that's better than we are. So for AI, I'd propose that we need to not just build the brain of a child, but also build in the heart. Thank you.